Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm back with another vintage recipe. If you're new here, hi, I'm Claire, welcome. Come on in and make yourselves comfortable. I love to cook. I'm in the kitchen all the time, but I also really love vintage cookbooks. I have a huge collection of them. I have a whole playlist of interesting vintage recipes that I've tried. So if you are like looking for a good binge today, I will leave that playlist down below for you. Today we are working with Betty Crocker's cookbook. This one is from 1969. I picked it up at an estate sale. We all know that actually Betty Crocker was not a real person, but if she was, they're pretending she looked like that. Anyway, I thought that it was about time that we did another one of these videos. So we are going to be making like a chicken casserole. If you have this cookbook at home, we are on page 309. We are making chicken custard casserole. And the reason I selected this recipe is because it calls for cooked chicken or turkey. And I thought this time of year, a lot of times we're roasting a turkey, we're roasting a chicken. We always have like lots of leftovers of that kind of thing. So I thought this would be an interesting way to kind of use them. So yeah, let's get right into it. Vintage chicken custard casserole. I will start out by saying that I did pre-cook my chicken. These are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I just cooked them with olive oil, salt, and pepper. I put them in the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes. But you could use like a rotisserie chicken, canned turkey, leftover turkey from your turkey dinner, or breast, or whatever your favorite cut is. This is what I had like in my freezer, so I used what I had. As for the rest of the ingredients today, everything was easy to find, which is nice. Sometimes these vintage recipes have ingredients that are like a little uncommon these days, but I was able to find everything quite easily. We've got breadcrumbs, we have our chicken, of course, we have broth, we have a can of mushrooms. We're gonna chop up this onion and use some of that. We've also got some diced pimentos. We're also gonna use milk, salt, pepper, and 2 eggs. We have to cut up this onion and we only need 2 tablespoons of chopped onion. So not a lot of onions. I don't know how much flavor that's gonna add here, but I guess we will find out. All right, next we need to cut up our chicken and we need 3 cups total. So hopefully this is enough thighs. And really, I'm just cutting them up into like bite-sized bits. All right, there we go. The recipe calls for 3 cups of soft breadcrumbs. And I just set some bread out last night to get a little bit dry, but not totally dry because they're supposed to be soft. That's why I didn't pick like the kind that come in a can, but I'm sure you could just use whatever breadcrumbs you have available to you. It's probably fine to just use store-bought breadcrumbs. I don't think it would probably matter that much. But I do want to try to follow the recipe exactly if I can. So it did say about 4 slices of bread. I set out 5 just in case, and I'm gonna chop them up. All right, it is time to assemble. I'm gonna throw the chicken in. We're going to throw the onions in. For the pimentos, we need 1/4 cup. I'm also going to go ahead and drain my mushrooms. This is a 4 ounce can. Now for our broth, we are going to add 1 cup. And also 1 cup of milk. We're also adding 2 eggs, but I'm going to just beat them first before we put them in. As far as seasoning this, we only have salt and pepper, which is very normal for this time period. I found most of these old recipes are really just basically seasoned. It calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, so hardly any, and 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm like pretty good at eyeballing this kind of stuff, so I'm gonna do that. Now we're going to mix it all up, and what I think makes this recipe pretty interesting, another reason why I chose it, is that when you go to bake it, you actually bake it in a water bath, like you would a cheesecake or creme brulee. Like, it is really more custardy, honestly, than I was expecting, like in the way that you bake it. So that's gonna be interesting. Okay, so I have a 9x13 pan, and this is what the water is going to go in, and I have a smaller dish that's going to fit inside. And I thought it was fitting to use my vintage Le Creuset casserole pan here. This is actually from the 1960s, which I think is fun. It specifically says not to grease it, so we are just gonna plop it right in there. All right, here I have some hot water right from the faucet, and I'm just going to slowly pour it in my pan. We want it to be about 1 inch high. We'll see how many cups that is. This is like 4 cups. Just measure with my finger. All right, for my pans, about 4 cups of water did the trick. I went ahead and preheated my oven for 350 degrees. We're gonna bake this, it says in the book, 1 hour to 1 hour and a quarter. So we're gonna throw it in for 1 hour, and then we're gonna stick a fork in it and test it out and see if it's done. Oh my God, it's so heavy though. Ah! All right, it's been 1 hour, so I'm gonna go ahead and check this out. It looks good. It's like jiggly a bit. Yeah, okay. It's done. We're gonna take it out and let it cool for a few minutes. Honestly, it looks really good and it smells really good. My hopes are pretty high for this recipe. All right, you guys, if this is not your first time here doing a vintage recipe with me, then you know the favorite part is when we feed the mystery vintage recipe to my husband.
What is it today?
This is a chicken custard casserole from 1969. It doesn't have anything weird in it, honey. It's just...
What are these bits?
What do you mean, what are the bits? Pimentos, of course. Obviously. All right, let's plate it up. Okay. I mean, it looks good. It smells good. It smells surprisingly oniony for having such a small amount of onions in it. It's really good. Honestly, because we did it in a water bath, it's like really velvety creamy, don't you think? Like, it's not eggy in like a quiche way. It has really achieved the custard texture, I would say. Don't you think?
It has a texture. And it is texturing.
Oh my gosh. So do you hate it?
I do not like it.
Really?
No.
Oh my gosh, I think it's really good.
I think it's tasty, but it's definitely something...
You don't like how it's like so smooth?
Yeah,
He's not a huge fan of mushrooms either.
the flavor is really good.
Yeah, like the chicken in it is good. I like this. I do think that really what's lacking here is the seasoning, which we knew going into this. If I were to do it again, I would add like a big spoonful of garlic. I think like maybe some Worcestershire, smoked paprika, a little bit more umami in there, I think is necessary. But it's good. The custard is custarding.
And I think the mixture is good.
It's the texture for you.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, friends, that was our chicken custard casserole. I was pleasantly surprised, and I think really Gianni should have been more happy that we didn't feed him some of the weird stuff we have fed him in the past. So leave me a comment down below. Do you ever make like a savory, meaty custard? Is that something that maybe you did when you were young, or your mother or grandmother did? I would love to hear it because I really liked this technique, and I think maybe executed a little differently, we could get my husband on board. So yeah, let me know what you thought, and of course, come on back for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.